Hey, what's going on, guys? Hope you are doing well, and welcome to week three. I just want to start off by saying I am so proud of you guys. I know these past couple weeks, especially reading some of the discussion board posts, I know there's a lot of new concepts, a lot of new terms that are being thrown at you guys, and I want to be honest, even some new terms I have even heard, and I've never even heard of reading this book. But the level of engagement you guys are doing, the quality of the work you guys are doing is excellent. My goal is not for you to become the greatest social media master of all time. My goal is for you to get better each and every week and for you to have a better understanding of how social media plays into the larger landscape of business and communication strategy. And so I know that some of these concepts and terms are difficult. The book does a really good job of explaining in depth, which sometimes may seem a little exhaustive, but I encourage you to dig deep. I encourage you just to take it one step at a time. You don't have to memorize or know everything. Just have a workable understanding of the things that you're focusing in on. So what I want to do today, this is going to be a really long video. I just wanted to let you know of a couple different things. First and foremost, all your grades should be updated. Know if you haven't submitted your short paper from week one, it's now still a week late. You still have technically one more week, but I encourage you to get it done as soon as possible because you have one that's technically due tonight, and then you have your first milestone, which is a larger paper, due at the end of this next week. And so it's really important to get that stuff done as soon as possible so I can grade it, give you feedback, and kind of go from there. This week, we are spending a lot of time talking about connections. One of the things that's really important to understand when it comes to social media and social media strategy is asking the question, where are we taking our audience, right? Because posting just for the sake of posting doesn't really do anything. We have to ask ourselves, where are we taking our audience and where do we want and what do we want our audience to do? If we can answer those two questions, where are we taking our audience and what do we want them to do, we're gonna have a much better understanding of the goals that we're trying to get, the measurable items we're trying to get, right? When we talk about the SMART goals today, this week we're gonna be talking about SWOT and a SWOT analysis, right? All those things work together. So it's important to know who is your audience and where are you trying to take them, what do you want them to do, and how are you using social media, whether it's posting, whether it's engagement, to get them to that place. So that's what this week is all about. So what you're going to talk about in your discussion board post, pay attention to that. You'll select one of two options and you'll kind of go through that process. Pretty simple. One of the things that's going to be important to know when we start talking about our milestones, which is also due at the end of this week, you're going to have two milestones in this class. Week 3 and week 5. I can't have to remember off the top of my head if we're going to have one that kind of is all combined in week 7. I'll have to double check on that. But essentially what you're also going to be doing outside of these short papers that you're doing each week, again, which is more or less just a reflection point. And I do want to pause here to say, I know often some of you guys are like, hey, what am I doing with these short papers? How long do they need to be? For me, it's more or less for you to be able to understand the concepts in your own words. So again, the short paper is only supposed to be 300 to 500 words depending on the prompt. Some of you guys are turning in 3 or 4 pages. I'm just letting you know I want to save you the time, so try to get it as close to that as possible. I know it's going to feel like, hey, I feel like I should be adding more, but the goal is not for you to have a massive paper. The goal is for you to be able to workably understand the terms in your own voice and be able to apply them. But back to the milestone. So this particular milestone is actually really interesting. I really like it compared to what the class that I used to teach formerly. Basically, you're going to pretend like you are in the communication department at SNHU as a social media specialist. And I'm not going to read this because you can take a look at that. But essentially what you're going to do is for this milestone and the next one, you're going to focus in on one audience that SNHU is trying to get to raise a certain amount of money for St. Jude's Hospital. So you're going to work through the prompt, answering the questions in a paper format. A couple things that's really important, and I'm going to mention this in the copy here, but clarity is so important. My number one thing is I need you to section title and label every section that you're answering. And here's why. It is so easy with these papers to lose sight of what you're missing, what you've added. When I'm grading a lot in a short amount of time. So it's really important for you to be as clear as possible. So I encourage you, take a look at the rubric. Make sure you're answering and checking off the boxes as you go. As you look at the prompt, make sure you're seeing that as well. But the biggest thing is clarity. The biggest thing is answering each and every question and doing that in complete sentences, not in just short phrases. If you do that, you are going to be fine. There is no necessary limit or minimum in terms of sources, but I expect probably 2 to 3 different sources that you'll be using. Make sure that you're citing that as well. If you have any questions about the milestone, please don't hesitate to ask. And since it is officially November, I do have to say Merry Christmas. We're officially in Christmas season part 1. You can see here I have my Christmas tree. My wife and I put our tree up already. It is looking great. If you're someone who doesn't believe in Christmas trees until after Thanksgiving, don't know what to tell you. But again, congratulations on the hard work you guys are doing. Keep it up. If you have any questions, let me know, and I'll be here for you guys. Take care.